and I think Monty made the accurate assessment. This is buying castle weather, because this is how they trick fuck you into coming up here and buying these places that you have to put millions of pounds into, because you're overwhelmed by the beauty and the majestic scenery. Any questions? I know we were yes.
Just to the castle, would you nonetheless buy it again?
No, I wouldn't. But when I bought it, I had no intention of doing this. It's the perfect place for this, but I had no intention. Of course, at that juncture, I didn't have any belief that I'd get thrown out. I just started the process, so I hadn't. I started Great Western and went public in conjunction with buying the castle, all in more or less a simultaneous transaction. So, but I mean, living up here is hard work. Not hard work because it's living up here, but it's living up here. It's hard work because of the commitment you have to have to the estate and all the employees. You know, the dozens of employees. It's a commitment that I wouldn't have knowingly accepted. But it's like my decision-making process. I backed myself into a corner, so here I am 30 years later. But there's I personally like Monte Carlo. I like living in a penthouse on 56th and 6th in New York. I like living on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other places that are closer to airports, but I mean, you don't have the same majestic serenity, so to speak, as you do here. And I must have known down deep inside, or somebody must have known, that I was going to ultimately, be doing this because it's the perfect place. And as the other guys say, and I told you, the rest of the industry can't compete. Not that I'm trying to compete with them, but the rest of the industry can't compete. And it's just one more thing that makes my unique selling proposition that much more, to use their words, not my words, awesome. Although a couple guys have tried to give seminars in castles, rented castles in Ireland and various places, chateaus in the south of France, but it's not the same. And if your goal is, if you got nothing and you want to have a lot of something, this is the perfect place to go to the seminar. I went to the gold sequence earlier. I mean, it's pretty dramatic. Even I'm inspired from time to time to think that I've done all this stuff. But my favorite is still, it turned in $60,000 into $100 million in 60 days, or 100 days, excuse me. That's still to me more awesome as opposed to 8 years. I mean, any bumfuck can make $500 million in 8 years, but I mean, 100 million in 100 days is pretty fucking dramatic. But that's not what I'm known for. They just gloss over that one like I brushed my teeth or something. But it is a beautiful place, you're here, you're witnessing it at its best. The old girl has, pulled up her dress to show you her best, because the weather doesn't get any better than this. It just doesn't. I mean, during the summer, the weather's not this good, let alone the first week in April. And but it's dramatic. And coincidentally, of course, we just brought our dogs over from Asia. They landed here the day before you guys got here. And there was a lot of concern from my wife, not from me, but from my wife, that, how are the dogs going to get along with the attendees, and are they going to be, dogs going to be mean to you or whatever? And I said that I wasn't concerned. I thought that the dogs will make a better transition than the castle attendees. And as it turned out, you'd think that they were here all their lives now. It's pretty, they've adapted a lot better than some of you have adapted for the first couple of days that you were here. And so it's a great place. And it's a great place to talk about the things that we've talked about the last few days, and about your dreams. And more importantly, it's notwithstanding one of the attendees, Jose, comes from just a few blocks from where I came from in East Los Angeles. And we've given this seminar. A lot of people have been here. A lot of people have been here from Los Angeles. A number of people have been here from East LA. But I never had a guy that just was down the street, from where I came from, attend. And it just reconfirms how the jump that I made from there to here, And not that I need that validation, but you get satiated. You get, you get slappy happy. I've never been as slappy happy as some of you guys. And, I say tongue in cheek, I don't know how the fuck you could be satiated based on your accomplishments so far. It's hard to comprehend how low your fucking benchmarks were before you got here. But it just, with having Jose here, the fact that, and we look at the map and the Google and we see where our street was and the church and all the stuff, it reconfirms that these kinds of leaps are possible. They just are. And I showed you some of the houses of some of my mentees early on the slides, and we've had some remarkable events in the last 22 years of kids that took this stuff and ran. And again, it's important to note, over 99% of the people that have been successful with the QLA methodology, I never met. I don't know their name. I know nothing about them. Yet they were able to take the material, in some cases the book, in some cases the MP3s in the old days, more recently the DVDs and the CDs, etc. And in more recently the podcasts that I do, and take the material because it's so, again, I hate to keep using Matthew as an example, it's so straightforward and so simplistic. I say this, I can't say it without smiling, a fucking monkey, like Australian monkey, like him, has been able to use it, and he's used it successfully. It's one thing when you look at Robert, scientist, physicist, etc., being able to use it because he's real smart, he's real this, he's real that. And I'm not saying you're not smart, Matthew, but I mean it's not a slam dunk because nothing's a slam dunk, but it is pretty fucking easy. It just is. And in every seminar that I give, it just not that I need any validation because I've got a ton of people that have gone through now, but I mean it's just that much more validation that it works all over the world, and so it's unusual that we have a youngster, like Henry, that's still in his second year at Oxford, and it's unusual that we have another student, Fabian, from I don't know which country he's claiming these days, but what country are you claiming?
Australia for now.
For now. But and then that coupled with some of the more senior guys in the seminar. But from Fabian and Henry to the very oldest in the room, it works. It just works, and that's I don't know. I don't really get any sense of gratification about it anymore, because now selfishly I'm just trying to chalk up numbers. I want to chalk up as many numbers. I mean, for you're my numbers. I want to chalk up as many numbers as I can. Well, I still can, and I'm still very healthy, and I still am more than capable to give these things. But you never know what you don't know. And I could get hit by a car, or one of the plane that I'm in, because I fly a lot. And my wife and I just flew from Kuala Lumpur to London on Malaysian Air, and an A380, or one of a nice brand new plane. But that same airline just when you fly as much as I do, there's always a possibility that could happen. But I always say, If you read about me and there's a plane and it's a crash and I'm on it, there's going to be one motherfucking person that didn't die. And it's me. And I hope to God that I'm on that plane without my wife, Sally, because it's not likely that there'll be 2 survivors. But I can guarantee you there'll be one motherfucker. And he's standing here with his finger in the fucking air right now. It'll be me. And about 3 years ago, there was a plane crash, I don't know where. Remember they found a 16-month-old baby stuck in a tree or some shit that didn't die? Well, I'll be the big fucking 220-pounder stuck in a tree that didn't die. And because I'm not going to die that way. If I haven't died yet from buffalo, lions, and all this other shit, I sure shit not going to die in a plane crash. So I used to be able to tread water for 30, 40 hours. So, but I would rather crash in the water as opposed to hard land. Because but when you hit water at those speeds, it's like crashing into the hard land. But I fancy myself being able to tread water a long time. So with the life vest, the rest of the seminar, a day and a half that we've got left, like I told you when we were off camera, QLA in the seminar is like sex. It all comes at the end. We've just finished talking about how we complete our board. We're not quite finished yet. We're going to finish in the next half an hour. And what we do, I've got ahead of myself because you asked me questions, which you give the board members because those slides are coming up. And then what we do with the accountants and the lawyers. And you ask these questions ahead of the cycle because for those of you that have studied the process, you think that you understand parts of the process. And I've told you, and I've given you some examples with emails, the guys and gals that are the most successful are the guys that follow the steps exactly, with no deviation. Absolutely with no deviation. They're the most successful. And because it's a building block process. And for you YouTubers that are watching, you know, it's not a 12-step program like AA, but it's a 7-step program. And if you follow the process and you do what the materials on my site and in my products say, you'll do fine. You'll do fine. And you do more than fine. You'll do very, very well. But the challenge you'll have, and I've said it, and the reason why I've said it over and over and over ad nauseum is because it's the biggest hiccup, it's the biggest fucking speed bump that you're going to have, is to try to cut the process short. No matter what I tell you, Fabian, you're a likely candidate, okay? I mean, you're going to try to cut the process short. Andre, you're a likely candidate. You're going to try to cut the process short. You just will. Because in every group that I've had for 22 fucking years, I'd like to say that I was a good enough teacher. Maybe I'm not a good enough teacher because I can't get you guys 100% to follow the process. Because based on your own insecurities, your lack of self-esteem, you being in a hurry because you've wasted 25 years of your fucking life already pissing it down a rat hole, you want to be in a hurry to jump, you're like, you finally made it to the Olympics. You're in the finals of the 100-yard dash, and you jump the gun twice and get fucking disqualified. That's the analogy. You're the oldest guy to ever run in the finals of the 100. By some grace of Allah, you made it to the finals at age whatever is considered old for a sprinter, late 30s, I guess. And you jump the gun and get disqualified. So think about that when you get out there and you're going to jump the gun. But I know you YouTubers won't jump the gun because you're fucking smart. I mean, you London reelers are fucking too smart to jump the gun. So on that happy note, I'll say, see you tonight. Thanks.